Hello everyone, my name's Phawx. In this video, we're going to be talking about the ASUS ROG Ally and how it's going to be massively disruptive to the PC gaming handheld space as we know it today. All of these other companies are going to have to pivot and go to either like different form factors, be unique, do something that GPD is already doing. The INEO already has the flip and the slide. These are things that they might have to pivot to more because when we take a look at the space that the ROG Ally and the Steam Deck exist in, all of the oxygen will be suffocated out of the room because of those things. We're going to talk about more of that in a moment. The one thing that I want to address is because I have been making tweets about this and people are saying, oh, you just said in your last video what could go wrong and had a thumbnail. Thanks, ASUS, I hate it. My opinion hasn't changed. In fact, if we go back to my previous video, within the first 19 seconds, I said I was trying to set expectations. And I just want to kind of set expectations because some of the stuff that they said, like 2x performance at 35 watt. And in comparison, if we take a look at what Valve did, I don't know if you remember, but I remember clear as day that Valve said that they are targeting 800p 30. And a lot of people were really upset that Valve said this out loud because it set a really low bar and people's expectations got really, really low, which is appropriate. Valve, also Pierre Lou made a tweet out saying, well, look, this is like the basement of what we're looking to target here. Obviously, things are going to go above that, but just to set your expectations, Valve should be applauded for what they did. So the thing that I hate that ASUS is doing is they are just giving these marketing numbers, and then the screen, which is 1080p 120, is setting mainstream people's expectations sky high, like outrageously high. They're going to get burned if they believe that any of the 1.5x, 2x performance of Steam Deck is going to actually reach 1080p 120 or even 720p 120, which it's not going to do in modern games. It's not happening. I mean, I'm talking to the choir here. Like, I know YouTube's not going to push this video out to anyone, but, my subscribers and people that are already in the hardcore. I'm basically preaching the choir. We all collectively know that it's not going to hit 1080p 120 in modern games or even 720p 120 in modern games. We all know that we're going to do 1080p 40 or we're going to do 720p 60, and it'll run fine inside of 15 watt, and it's going to be awesome inside that. For us, this is going to be great. But for mainstream people, they're going to get burned by believing into this hype of the marketing that it is setting their expectations sky high. And what's going to result is the PC gaming handheld space, these people from mainstream are going to get sour on the PC gaming handheld space. It is a net negative. That is why I hate what ASUS is doing with the ASUS ROG Ally. I thought I was very clear in the video because I was giving tons of explanations, and I was also being super sarcastic by the end of it, because if you think about even to hit 35 watt in a portable state, both fans blaring up, you're not going to hit 2x perf because the only thing that you're going to do there is on CPU bound results. So any game that is CPU bound to hit very high frame rates, okay, maybe you can approach that, but now we're talking about super old games. Yes, N7 Zen 2 versus a Zen 4 N4, 100%, 35 watt, yeah, you're going to hit 2x performance. But that's CPU that we're talking about, guys. We're not talking about GPU, because if we take a look at GPU, for example, a game like Returnal, which is massively GPU bound, you are not going to get 2x performance. You're barely going to get over 1.5x performance, even when you boost TDP, because it's a very GPU bound game. And the difference between RDNA 2 and RDNA 3, even with more CUs and stuff, we're still bound by how much memory bandwidth is, which is really all we're getting from a performance boost anyway with LPDDR5 7500. So that's really the reality of it. Like, that is the reality. And that's the thing that I'm trying to communicate to people, to set expectations. And I hope I make myself clear, because even what I said in the video was, I still hope that it does, and I'm a big fan of it because more competition is better for us. Now to get into this video proper about talking about how disruptive the ASUS ROG Ally is going to be inside of the PC gaming handheld space from my perspective, but looking at it, it's going to consume all the oxygen in the space of handhelds that occupy the same space that the Steam Deck is. Meaning that, yes, the Steam Deck is objectively the largest, but even the INEO 2, which is only a little bit smaller, but it still is in the same category of this. The INEO, typical INEO, the Aoki Zoe, other types of devices with 7-inch screens, all of these are going to have the oxygen removed from the room from them, because they're not going to be able to compete with what ASUS is bringing here. First off, again, they already said that it's coming sooner than you expected. So for a lot of people that are still waiting on AYN to deliver 6800U handhelds, there is an actual reality here where ASUS, the Ally, will be in Best Buy store shelves before AYN 6800U Loki even ships. And at that point, that's going to be huge. That's disruptive to the market for all the people that were in there. So now you think about all the small players, they all have to now pivot around this whole 7-inch screen space idea. GPD is a little bit immune in this area because GPD does UMPCs. They always include keyboards and mice. GPD is going to have a space here because of they do unique devices. You look at what like Ioneo is doing with the flip or the slide. These devices are unique and will be able to target a market of some sort. You take a look at what ROG Ally is doing. It's going to be first to market with AMD's Phoenix chipset. It's the rumors were that it was going to be October production. That's looking like that's accelerating far faster. The pricing of it, now I knew based on what I know about other stuff, is that the pricing could have been between $700 and $800. I even said that in my video. Worst case, I could see them charging like $800 for this device as a high-end to have at least decent margins on this device. That the ceiling would be $800. It is looking like ASUS is just looking at all the marketing done with the Steam Deck and found that people are buying the $650 model, and they are going to target their basement price at around $650, $700. There are things that I know and the rumors of the pricing that are aligning, which make me believe this to be true. So if you look at this pricing, there are no devices that are going to be able to compete with it in price, compete with it in performance, compete with it in customer service, availability. It's going to suffocate the entire room with all of these devices that are somewhat similar. There are going to be devices that have more powerful Phoenix chipsets available to them. I don't even think that that will be enough to take it away from the ROG Ally when you consider customer service and all the other stuff, especially the price point. So all of these companies are going to have to massively pivot and change, because you take a look at the sales numbers from all the different IGGs and crowdfunding things that are going on there, and you can see how they've been getting slowly lower and lower. And now with the ROG Ally coming out, it's going to basically consume the entire space. Again, I'm talking to us. I'm talking to the hardcore group right now. We all know what the ASUS ROG Ally is actually capable of, and it's still going to be awesome. But we're going to already set our expectations on what to actually expect from this. So for us, this is no big deal. But for us, all of us, I mean, there's a good portion of us that are just going to get the ROG Ally. For me, when I take a look at the PC gaming handheld space, there's a lot of these companies that entered into it that are going to have to now pivot and go into different things. And I don't know how many of them are going to continue to survive in this space because it's rapidly becoming clear that there's bigger players that are coming in here that are just consuming all the air out of it. So this is something that, in a way, I'm happy that there is competition, but in a way, it's almost like they brought too much competition. I still don't like how ASUS is marketing it because of how high they're setting people's expectations. But as long as the reviews come out and give people a heavy dose of reality, I suppose it doesn't matter that I made that video, even though I was just trying to set expectations and that was the end of it. So that's it for this particular video. I wanted to kind of address some of the comments that I've been getting on my previous video. And I want to comment that I still have this thought while still not liking ASUS's marketing entirely, especially when compared to what Valve is doing. I think it's going to bring a tremendous amount of competition, and I don't even know how other companies are going to respond to this at the current time. That's this video. As always, guys, thank you for your time, and thanks for watching.